Jess was able to just tell us a moment ago that the tsunami alert has been lifted. Jess, any idea as to why that was lifted so quickly? It really made a lot of people get out on the roads and start to evacuate.
I mean, yeah, stretched all the way down into Santa Cruz. We were watching the traffic get crazy along those shorelines as people were preparing for the worst. And the National Weather Service did report that around 12:10, that's the time right now, 12:10, we were expected to see some of those strongest waves near San Francisco. But as this continues to develop, mind you, it was originally a 6.0 reported, then a 7.0, then a 7.3, then back down to a 7.0. This is changing, and first responders are continuing to keep a close eye on that. The USGS continuing to monitor and update, and the National Weather Service is trying their hardest to keep you updated as soon as possible. I also want to mention too, I was planning on flying with the National Guard today. All those aircraft are now put on standby. I just got this from my commander. All those aircraft for the National Guard here in Northern California are on standby just in case they need to do any response today up in Humboldt County. So not only is it government officials, of course, we're also continuing to keep a close eye on military officials, and just along our Northern California first responders, those are those community members that are ready to go in case there's anything else. But you see that map right there, all those aftershocks. Yeah. Over 10 have been reported so far. One of the strongest ones happened just about 10 minutes ago, a 5.0 just off the shoreline. You see that larger orange circle well offshore. That's that 7.0 that happened at 10:44 this morning. That was the large one. Now those aftershocks are slowly starting to creep closer to the San Andreas fault line, which is highlighted in that light red color along the California coast. So there are a lot of developments happening right now. And Reed, to answer your question, the National Weather Service is updating us as soon as possible as to why that has been expired. But this is an update. The tsunami threat has now passed after that 7.0 earthquake.
And we're expected to see more aftershocks in the coming hours here. They're going to get less and less, but now is the time when you really could expect to feel it.
Exactly, and communities like you see right there on your screen, Rio Del, Eureka, Trinidad, all throughout that region. And we could potentially even see some along our California coastline here in the Bay too. That wouldn't be shocking, especially after such a strong magnitude earthquake like we saw just about an hour and a half ago.
I'm really glad to hear that the tsunami warning was lifted, because we are now 2 minutes past when we were all told within the last hour when those waterways would be swollen. Now, we just got an update from State Senator Mike McGuire on X. Here's what he has to say. The state is sending immediate assistance to Humboldt and Del Norte communities to assist with emergency operations. He goes on to say there are reports of some homes that have come off their foundations in the greater Eel River Valley region of Humboldt. Homes off of foundations, folks. Approximately 10,000 customers also without electricity in Humboldt County. That from State Senator Mike McGuire. That just gives you pause. Places kids would come home to today to have their after-school snacks now wiped off their foundations.
Yeah, you're talking about just the damage that was from that major earthquake. We want to go to an emergency crew member from Arcata. Are you still on the phone there, sir?
Chris Emmons, can you hear us?
Chris Emmons from Arcata.
So as you can imagine, in these situations, kind of hard to get communications in and out. We'll continue to work on that. Just want to keep on this graphic here because Jess was talking about something that I think is interesting to look at and causes us all to sort of sit up and pay attention. You see that red dot on the far left out in the water? That is where the very large earthquake hit. Now you're starting to see the aftershocks start to move inland. Jess, you say that's closer to the San Andreas Fault. How do you read that?
What you're seeing right now on your screen, that light red color along the California coast near Humboldt County, all along that shoreline that reaches closer to us, that's the San Andreas fault line. And you see right there, it kind of skirts a little bit to the left, just offshore of areas like Ferndale and all throughout that region, actually. That's where this epicenter was. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck at just 10:44 this morning. And now you see all those smaller dots. One of the strongest aftershocks just got downgraded. And this is in live time, now down to 3.9. We're continuing to keep a close eye on Ferndale, Petrolia, all throughout this region. These are smaller communities that are still feeling the aftershocks right now, and they will continue to feel those too as we head into the evening hours tonight. I really find it fascinating that right after these strong earthquakes happen, the first thing that the USGS reports is the aftershock forecast, and we're seeing that in live time right now, up to around 10 currently. We're still expected to see about a 99% chance of more magnitude 3.0 earthquakes to occur along that San Andreas coastline that you see just right there.